Today we're going to be checking out a WordPress theme that's completely free and works with any page builder. If you want to extend it, there's a pro add-on pack available, but you don't need it to start working with. So let's just jump over into WordPress and take a look at that theme in action. My name is Paul C and welcome to WPTuts, the channel where we create beautiful WordPress websites. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that bell icon below to be notified every time new content is added. Okay, so what is this theme? Well, it's the page builder framework, and what it does is it gives you a great platform to use any page builder you want, whether that's Elementor, Brizy, Divi, or any of those. It's very fast loading and has some really nice little features. On top of that, if you want to take it one step further and you want to unlock the true potential, there's a pro add-on pack that's available that allows you to get the best out of this theme. But in this video, I'm going to do it in two parts. First part is just the theme, completely free version, so you can get a feel for exactly what you can do. And stick around to the end and you can see some of those add-ons and how they work and enhance the theme that you have available. So let's just jump over to the WordPress dashboard and take this theme for a run. So before we do jump into the dashboard, I just want to make you aware that this is a sponsored video by the Page Builder Framework. I'm not giving you my review or honest comments on it. This is just a demonstration of the product in action so you can make your own minds up. So there are basically two parts to the Page Builder Framework. There's the free theme that you can use unrestricted on any website you want, using any page builder that you want. And then there's the premium pack of extensions that you can download and purchase to get extra functionality. Now what I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to demonstrate the theme on its own to start off with. Then we'll take a look at adding in those premium plugins, and we'll take a look at what they bring to the table as well. So first of all, I visited the website, I've downloaded the theme, installed it, and I'm now ready to go. So before we jump over into the dashboard of WordPress, what exactly are the benefits of choosing the Page Builder Framework as your theme? Well, as you can see, and in the name, it suggests it's kind of geared towards working with all the page builders, which is a good thing because there are a lot of really good ones out there. Things like Elementor, Divi, and so on. We can use all those inside the framework, the Page Builder Framework. We've also then got great WooCommerce integration. One thing I do like, and we'll take a look at later, is GDPR compliance. So if you're in Europe or you deal with European customers or site visitors, anything that helps out with GDPR compliance is a good thing in my book. It's also an incredibly light theme, coming in just under 50k. Now this is obviously dependent upon the kind of plugins and the site you're developing, but it's a great start. Anything that starts off nice and lightweight is a very good thing. So there's just some of the benefits of using the Page Builder Framework. Now I've jumped into the dashboard and I've already gone ahead and created a page that we can work with, just to show you how we can set things up through the appearance section of the Page Builder Framework. Speaking of the appearance section, this is where we're going to kind of do most of the fine-tuning and tweaking of the design. In the appearance section, I'm coming to customize. So we're going to use the customizer to pretty much control the way that everything looks other than the page content. And as you can see, I've got a very, very simple layout. Just use a couple of the Elementor templates just to pull things in so we've got some content in here. Okay, so down the left-hand side, you can see we've got everything broken up into pretty logical sections. Nothing you're not really accustomed to seeing already in most themes that are well designed. If we jump into the general section, you can see we've got options for layout, so we can go into there. We can set this up. Do we want to be boxed? We can click on that, and that'll put a boxed layout in there if we want to. We can adjust padding and margins, change the background color, add a box shadow in if we want to sort of make things stand off the page. We can even come down and we can fine-tune and tweak this to get exactly what we want from our layout. So you can see it's very, very easy to work with, and also incredibly quick to just go through and style things the way that you want them to be. Moving on from there, if we just jump back out to the layout, we come down to, you can see we've got background, accent, color, buttons, sidebars, and so on. So we can control all those kinds of things. So if we don't want a sidebar anywhere on the site, we can set that up, and that'll then apply globally to all the pages we create. Or alternatively, we can just come in and we can go to each individual page as we create it and specify whether we want to use a sidebar on there or not. So you have a lot of flexibility there that's quite easy. If you do choose to use a sidebar, you can see we can specify the sidebar gap, the widget padding, the widget background color, and so on. So you've got nice control over that there as well. Blog settings, if we jump into there, you can see we can show the author, the excerpt length, the actual button text that we want to use, and so on and so forth. Pretty cool. Blog layout, we can come into that and you can see we can control exactly what information is going to be displayed. So if we just jump over into the blog section, You can see we've got the right hand column, we've got our image, we've got the read more, all those kinds of good things. We can easily come into the blog layout and we can just disable or enable any of this if you want to. So we can just turn on and off the blog post title, the metadata, featured image and so on, all very easy. And as you can see, updates incredibly quickly on the page. So again, really, really easy. Now, these are the kinds of things you've probably seen in lots of other themes as well. So there's nothing sort of groundbreaking with this side of things, but it is very, very quick and easy to use. So we just hop back out of the general section. One thing I do like about this, if we jump to the typography location, you can see we can set up the text, the menus, the H1 through H6 and so on. If we go to the text, you can see we've got the font settings. We can click on there. And the thing that I really like about this is the fact that we can now enable or disable the actual Google CDN for your Google fonts. So as I said at the top of this video, if you are GDPR, you haven't been affected by that, one of the things you want to make sure is that you don't necessarily have the link through to the Google CDN where you sort of have to pull the fonts from. It's nice that you can do it directly inside Page Builder Framework and then download that directly to your server and they'll be fed from there. Just one little headache that really does get taken out. I'd love to see more theme developers take this approach when it comes to dealing with fonts. Speaking of fonts, if we jump back out of this now, we can control all the font families and so on. Come back out of there and you can see if we jump into menu, again we can edit those. Again, we can go through and specify whether we want to pull these from the Google CDN or we want to put it onto our own server. And the same kind of thing goes with the H1 through the H6. You can see we can set things up directly in here. So we can fine tune and tweak all the typography elements. But for a free theme, it's nice to see this attention to detail. However, if you do go for the premium extensions, then there's a lot more control over your typography. And we'll take a look at that a little bit later on in this video, but it's worth bearing in mind you get even more control if you do decide to go down that route. So that's the typography side of things covered. If we come out of there, you can see we can jump into the header section. We can style things that we can put our logo in. You can see we've got site titles, logo container width. We can come in and we can fine tune. If we want to use text as our logo, we can specify the fonts, the colors, all those kinds of good things. We've got site icons, which you can load into this as well. So all your kind of logo requirements are covered in there. No problem at all. Navigation, you can see we can specify where we want the navigation. By default, it's set to right. But if we want to, we can do things like we can set it to the left. We can come in and set it to be centered. And I like the way the centered is worked on here. You can see the logo actually is placed in the center. And then your menu structure is split either side. So that's quite nice that you don't have to mess about going and creating custom headers, which you can do with the plugin extension pack. Okay, so we can take out of there, we can come in and we do stacked if we want to, and you can see we can stack our navigation and our logo. Again, we can drop in things like the search icon if we want to use that on here. We can adjust the menu height, we can adjust the spacing on there, all the kind of things we want to get it exactly how we want it to look. So that's pretty cool, I like that. Let's put that back to the default. Jump back out of there. Submenus, mobile navigation, pre-header and so on. And the pre-header is effectively putting a little strip at the top which we can control. And this is quite basic. We've got the one column which will just put one single column in there, or two columns which will put a left and right. So if you want to put things like phone numbers, or you want to use short codes and things for Elementor, or Elementor Pro I should say, then you can use those kinds of things in here. So again, a nice little addition. Let's just set that back to none. Jump back out of there, jump back out of the header. Again, we've got the footer options. We can come in, you can see pretty straightforward. We can come in and choose the style, colors and things like that. Pretty good. Menus, we can fine tune and just select where we want the menus, the locations and so on. So we can have multiple different menus that are all controlled via this section, or the menu setup inside the appearance tab. Jump back out of there, you can see we've got the widget, so we can come in and we can just pull in what widgets we want to use for the sidebars. And finally, we've got the homepage settings, which is just replicating what you have inside WordPress itself. But it's nice to have it inside the customizer because it saves you having to log out of this to go make those changes if you forget to do it, or you're just setting things up at the beginning. And finally, we've got additional CSS, and you can see we can easily come in and start fine-tuning our CSS code. So all in all, it's a pretty nice theme. There's plenty to cover for anybody that just wants to stick with the free basic version, and the fact that you can integrate this directly with all of the page builders out there, that gives it a good start. So pair this up with something like Elementor, the free version, or Brizy, and you have a great starting theme. But like I say, there's a lot more power if you take a look at opt-in for the premium extension pack. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into here now, and we're going to take a look at some of the things that brings with it and how it expands upon the customizer and the theme itself. Now, unlike some other themes, the premium add-on for the Page Builder framework is not modular. You download one premium add-on pack and everything is included. And as you can see, we've got things like sticky navigation, advanced typography where we can use things like custom fonts and typekit. Transparent headers are included, integration for Elementor Pro, Beaver Builder or Beaver Thema integration. We've got menu variations and a ton of other good things, and some additional things coming soon, such as the advanced blog layouts. So we've got some nice things in there, and just activating this is very easy. We've got one piece of software, one plugin to download, one to activate. Once you've done that, you're going to have to put your code in there. I've already done that. So that now gives me access to these extra premium features. So we come back into Appearance and go back into the Customizer section. You'll see that we now have that message at the top is now gone. And if we expand things like the typography, we now have extra features like Typekit, which you can open up and enable Typekit fonts. And as you can see, we can just put the ID in and then choose our fonts, and we can keep adding new fonts from there. Or we can come in and we can use custom fonts, and again we can enable that, choose our custom fonts and add as many as we want in. So it's nice to see that we've got the option to add that in. But also, if we come into, for example, the text section, you can see we now have some additional options on top of just choosing the font family, the variant, and applying whether it comes with a Google CDN or not. We can now set up different font sizes based upon the device that we're viewing it on. So we can have one font size for the desktop, a different font size then for our actual fonts inside our tablets, and then the third one for our mobile devices. So that's quite nice to see that we can control all those different font sizes based upon the device that's being used. So I like that idea of things. Now, one of those things that lots of people ask for and lots of people want are things like transparent headers and sticky headers. Well, with the premium add-on pack, you have that. It's very easy to use inside the Page Builder framework. So we come down to the header section. You can see we now have transparent header and we have sticky navigation. So we open up the sticky navigation. We can just simply enable that. And once we do that, we've now got a ton of options that allow us to specify how this will work and how it'll look. So we can control the menu height. So if we scroll down, you can see that shows us. If we scroll this to the left-hand side, we now get a smaller header. Or if we scroll to the right-hand side, we get a much bigger header. So you can control that very easily. So we'll just reset that back to its default value. You can choose the delay for how long it takes before the actual effect takes effect, as it were. You can also go through and do things like have different background colors, font, hover, logo colors, and so on. So make sure this integrates nicely with the design that you're working with. You then have options to control the animation effect. So if we just set this to be fade in, for example, and as I scroll on the page, you see it fades in as opposed to just appears. Or we can have things like slide down, and you can see that animates in. We can also then go through and we can adjust the animation duration. We can set a blur on a box shadow. We can enable and disable the box shadow. So again, we've got control over how this looks and integrates with the design that you're working with. And it's all incredibly easy. You don't need to be some kind of techie to be able to go in and start fine-tuning this theme and getting what you want out of it. Now, if we want to create transparent headers, there's a couple of steps we need to do to make sure that it'll actually display the way we want. Just enabling the settings inside the customizer won't actually display a transparent header. What you need to do is go into the actual page itself and set it to be a transparent header in there. Once we've done that, we can just hit update on the page or save if you created a new one. And what we're going to do is come back into our appearance into customize. And once we're inside the customize, we're going to come over to the header section and we're going to come down to the transparent header. Now you can see we already have a transparent header laid out in front of us. We can come in and do things like set the background color if we want to, so we can clear that completely and have no background overlay. So you can see that now is completely and utterly transparent. Now you can use this in conjunction with the sticky header, and what we've done in there is I've already gone ahead and set the background to be a sort of semi-transparent background color. So you can see as I scroll down and the header comes in, or the sticky navigation comes in, we've got a semi-transparent background on there. Now the colors don't necessarily work on this example, but it shows you how easy it is to set things up. So it's very easy. If we want to change the background color on there again, like I say, we can easily come in, choose whatever kind of color that we want, choose any kind of transparency level that we want on there, and we can get it to look exactly how we want to fit in with the design we're working with. You can then go through and fine tune the font color. So we can say with a transparent header, we want those to be white. And also you can just choose the hover color if you want to. So you could choose that, whatever you want on there. So it's very easy to set up a transparent and sticky headers inside the Page Builder framework using these premium extension add-on pack. Now, we're on the subject of menus. We have a ton of other options now we've got this premium pack installed. So we come down to our navigation. you can see where we had menu, right, and so on, we've now got additional options. We've got stacked advanced, we've got off canvas right and left, and full screen. So let's just take a look at something like off canvas left. All right, click on that one, and you can see what that'll do is that'll replace our navigation now with a little hamburger menu. We can click on there, and that brings in our navigation on the right-hand side. On top of that, we have a ton of options that we can use to configure and tweak to get everything how we want. We can adjust the menu height, the default navigation width. We can come through and set the hover. We then got off canvas settings, so we can choose whether you want to have a push menu or just a normal menu. And what that basically means is if we just choose the normal version, you can see it overlays on top of our page content, whereas if we use the push menu, it'll actually push all our content to the left or right depending upon which type of off-canvas menu you wanted. So really, really cool. You've got your menu width, so we can set that to be considerably smaller should we need to. Set that at 300, for example. Click, and you can see that it gives us a much smaller menu on the right-hand side. If we disable that, we can come back up. We've got things like full screen, so we can click on there. And now if we click, we'll get a full screen menu. So you can really come in and customize how your navigation works in the design that you're playing with. So we should come back out of the navigation and take a look at some of the other tools and options available to us with the premium pack for Page Builder Framework. So the Page Builder Framework also allows us to use some built-in shortcodes. So for example, let's just say that we want to use social media icons. I've already set up the sort of pre-header at the top, and we want some social icons on the right-hand side. With the extension pack that we've got, the add-on pack, the premium add-on pack, we can easily come in now and start adding in social icons. And to do that is very, very easy. If we just come into the general section, you can see we've got some new entries now, social media links and social media icons. If we open up the links, you can see we've got a list of all the different social media accounts that are supported by this particular theme out of the box. So what we're going to do is you normally paste in the links that you want. So I'm just going to simply put in some null links for a couple of these. So we've got some content available to us. So we've set those up. All we need to do now is go and style the icons that we want and tell it that we want to put this into this particular part of our header. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back out of this and we're going to go into the header section, come down to the pre-header, and in column 2, we're just simply going to drop in the little shortcode, which is just a social shortcode. Now everything is in place. All we need to do is go and tell it what type of icons we want to use. So let's just jump back out of this, come back into our general section, come down to our social media icons, and you can see at the moment none of these are actually enabled. So we know that we've applied for the first 5, so we're just going to drop those first 5 that we want to use in there. You can just apply all of these, and anything that's got a link in it will actually display. So you can see there's the ones we've set null links up to, all being displayed inside our pre-header. Now we can go through if we want to and adjust the styling on these. So you can see we've got some options for different types of styles we want to use, plain, rounded, and boxed, and so on. So we can choose that. You'll see that now updates and shows us the different effect. We can easily then come in and choose what kind of colors we want to use for the different icons. So let's just say brand colors, for example. Take the box back off and set that to be plain. And what we're going to do is just bump the size up, so you can see as we use that, it'll increase the size of the icons, and we get a nice rollover effect. So it's very easy to add in the social icons and tell it what social icons you want, what links you want to use, and then customize them accordingly. So one of the other areas that's been expanded upon if you're using the add-on pack is the ability to use custom footers alongside either Elementor Pro or any of the other sort of page builders that allow you to create custom templates. So I've created a template for my footer. And in Elementor, it gives me the short code. All I need to do is make sure I copy that. Now we can jump over into the appearance and back into the customizer. And inside the customizer, we can go down to the footer section and we can customize that. So just jump into footer. Now at the moment, you can see we've got none, 1 column and 2 columns. We've got the option for sticky footer and some other controls and things. If we scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's our footer sitting at the bottom. Let's replace that with our custom options. Let's set the footer to be none. Once we do that, it gives us this option at the bottom that says, right, drop in a code if you want to, and you can use that as your custom footer. So let's just paste in that Elementor template code. And if we scroll down, you'll now see we've got our custom designed Elementor-based footer being included in our site. So let's just hit publish on there. Let's just jump over to our test page, refresh this, and now we'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. And inside our design, you can see we've now got our custom template that we pulled in from Elementor Pro and using that inside the theme to create a custom footer. Now, because that's been set up template or theme wide, if we go to a different page, so we just come back up to the top and we'll go into our blog section. Once we drop into there, scroll down to the bottom and you see there's our custom footer, and we go into any of the blog posts again, there's our custom footer. So it makes it very, very easy to take advantage of the templating system that page builders like Elementor Pro provide us in conjunction with the Page Builder Framework theme. So hopefully what you see there is it's very easy to use. Now, speaking of the templating system, we can use that to create things like custom 404 pages as well using the theme. So for example, if we just come down into the Generals tab, you can see we've got 404 layout in there. Click on there, and again we've got the ability to drop in the short code, so we can create that template inside Elementor Pro or any other theme builder, and then we can just put in that short code and access that for the theme. So it just makes things really easy. If you're used to working with Elementor Pro or any of these kind of page builders that allow you to build theme templates, then you can utilize that inside the Page Builder framework, and that's kind of where one of its big strengths come in. It just does give you a lot of flexibility to use those different page builders inside one theme. Now, speaking of flexibility, if we just come out of the customizer and hop into the theme settings, which is available in the appearance tab, other than putting your license in the one tab that allows you to just activate the theme and the plugins, you can see we've got a settings section. So we've got some global template settings we can apply here, as well as some performance settings. So things like we can specify that the global template is full width for both posts and pages. We can remove the title, so it saves us having to do that on a post by post or page by page basis. We've also got performance settings, so things that we don't necessarily use. So for example, if you don't use things like feed links, or you don't want to use the sort of the short links or the emojis and things like that, you can disable all those different things in there, which is in turn going to help speed up your website because those things are not being loaded in, so you get a speed benefit and you also just get less bloat. So it's good to see options like that in there. You can also come in and set your own customized breakpoints for medium devices like tablets and so on, and desktops. So that's really nice to see that you can customize this to get exactly what you want. On top of that, you've also got the ability to white label the theme if you want to. So if you're handing this off to a client and you don't necessarily want them to see what particular theme you're using, then you can do that directly inside here. You can go and white label, set up the theme name, description, tags, and so on. So it all points to your particular company, which again is really good to see. So there we go, that's the Page Builder framework for WordPress, a free theme that allows you to use any page builder, is fast loading, and if you want to extend it, you can use the premium add-on pack to open up a whole range of extra features. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified every time new content is added. As always, if you've got any comments, questions, or feedback on this theme, please pop those in the comment section below. And until next time, take care.